There we go. So, I know I'm not following the schedule 100% right now, but according to schedule, I'm supposed to have this still. I'm having issues with the capture card. I don't want to go find the ROM for this and play it on Dolphin. So instead, for the time being, until I can at least figure out something to do with my capture card, maybe get a new capture card, I'm just gonna switch over and do this specific day as like a free choice Friday, because as much as I like to put something in this thing's place, I do need to eventually get this recorded. So I'm not gonna take it off the schedule just because I can't record it right now. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna record it. So with that said, enjoy whatever I put after this. Hello, welcome back to my channel, and this is just a script that I wrote a little while ago over on Spacehey and never really did anything with, but I kind of wanted to. Luckily I made it a blog and not a bulletin. So yeah, I'm reading this directly off my Spacehey blog here. So, which, by the way, check out that website if you haven't. It's a pretty cool website. It's kind of a recreation of MySpace, thus the name being very similar. So, but anyways, with that plug out of the way, so I did write a blog here called Mario Kart 9 Item Speculation that I just kind of want to read off, because it's a lot of items that I just kind of want to see in the next Mario Kart game. They probably won't be there. They most likely won't be. A lot of them come from the arcade games, believe it or not, the Mario Kart arcade games. So, but I also had some other stuff here that is actually already in the games that I kind of just want to change up a little, you know? So, I start us off with its own little preface. I just saw a meme that spurred on a bit of a thought. I won't be going over all items, but rather the ones that I think would be insane, cool, and or complete game changers, etc., etc., etc. Remember, this is all theorizing, speculation. There is no guarantee any of these will be in Mario Kart 9. In fact, a lot of them probably won't be. Most of them. If not all. Well, not all. There's... You know what, the first one's definitely going to be in there. It probably just won't function the way that I want it to. Anyways, so the first item is the Super Horn. Like I said, it already technically exists in the games. So, of course, the previous game changer... Oh. Okay, something went wrong here. Of course, the previous game changer would change this item in MK8. This something definitely went wrong here. And I know what went wrong. Okay, anyways, I'll just keep reading it for you guys. Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. Let me just restart that whole section over again. So the Super Horn, of course, with the previous game changer, which we'll be going over in a bit, because I forgot to write it in, would be changed in this game. In Mario Kart 8, this item was rare and could only be obtained in higher positions. But to combat the previous item, which was the white shell, and if you're curious what the white shell is, this is what the meme was. So the meme is the white shell, the winner gets this item called the white shell. Or the person that's in the league gets this item called the white shell. That they can throw to hit the person in dead last. So I would kind of actually like that idea, as long as, of course, the blue shell is still there, and the super horn, and of course the super horn would have to be changed for this. So, to combat the white shell, this item would have to be made available to all placements for the sake of balance. And to not offset the blue shell's original purpose, rarity will be based on placement. It'll remain rare in high positions, but the further back you are, the more common it should be. And yeah, that means making items such as mushrooms or the star or the bullet bill more common 8th to 12th places to allow the ability to catch up that exists in most Mario Kart games. To rubber band. Let's put it that way. The super horn is a more definitive item. The super horn is a more defensive. I was trying to write defensive. Wow. I failed at typing. The super horn is a more defensive item, and as a result, would not be a great item to receive in last place, other than to defend, of course, against the white shell, which... So, of course, if the white shell isn't included, the super horn doesn't need to operate this way. The super horn should operate, of course, the way that it currently does. But if we implement the white shell, of course the super horn has to change. I'm surprised I'm scared to know how much I actually don't have here now that I know that the white shell is gone. And should have been mentioned before the super horn. Anyways, moving on, we've got the super bell. What will this item do? I don't know, but I know it will make your driver a cat version of themselves for a duration of a certain time. This obviously means there won't be a Cat Peach. I also suggest removing Tanuki Mario, however, I understand if they don't. Remove either. What is a song? Oh, this is from Rayman Legends. Let me just try and keep this a little bit more relevant. Mortal Kombat. Actually, that's pretty relevant now that I think about it. Whatever. Anyways. So, next up we have the Intangible Mushroom. This is an item that appeared in Super Mario Kart 64, and its function here will be similar for a short period of time. You will become intangible. Think basically the ghost item, but for a longer period of time. Also added to it, when activated, you will receive the typical mushroom boost. Cause, it's a mushroom. You know? Why not? Why not just make it a little bit more OP? So, next up we have the Metal Mushroom. Just like the previous one, also appears in... I believe it actually makes its debut, like the previous one, in Mario Kart 64. This one appears in a lot more Mario games, though. So this item will make your character metal and slower. However, collision with opponents will flatten them. And you are now invulnerable to shells, including blue and white shells. It will be attainable in all positions. Rarity will be the same as the super horn. Again, I would say this is based on if the white shell is or is not in the game. If the white shell is in the game, of course, the way that I previously mentioned that the super horn should be made rare should be implemented. But if not, then of course the Metal Mushroom should be just as rare as the super horn is now. So I would also probably make this a little bit more common in first place position because it does slow the cart down. So this would cause more rubber banding, basically. So the next item will be the black shell. This item is a item that commonly appears in the Mario Kart arcade games, And what does it do? Well, it's a green shell that explodes on impact, similar to the way the blue shell explodes. This obviously will be more rare than the typical shells, however, it won't be among the rarest items. Also, I wouldn't drag it for obvious reasons. You know, you drag it and kaboom when something hits it. So it's an item that you kind of want to just keep in your item stock. Anyways, so the next item will be the fake item. And now this one's actually in most Mario Kart games. This is just a quick one I want to talk about. It's definitely an item that should return, however, we need the fake items to look similar to real items. As similar as possible anyways. I get why we have to make them a little bit different, but we gotta really work to make them more similar. I think it was Mario Kart 8, I think it was, or not 8, Wii, Mario Kart Wii, I think it was, that actually did this pretty well. But the colors were a little too contrasting. Other than that, it actually worked pretty well. Anyways, so where was I? With enough differences so that way someone knows what to look for and can distinguish it from a real item block. Yeah, basically what I was saying. I think a better way of doing it from the colors would actually be to keep them the same colors. Definitely keep them the same colors. To differentiate them. Real item blocks have the question mark up. Fake, down. If you're not paying attention, the fake item block will easily be collected. So, I also have quite a few items from Mario Kart Double Dash that have not appeared since on this list. And this will be one of those items. So, this item is the Bowser Shell. Some of you may remember this item specifically from Double Dash, though it also appears in Mario Kart Tour, and I believe also in the arcade games. It's just an oversized green shell. It'll be more common than the black shell, but rare than the usual shells for obvious reasons. Also, it'll be weighted to back positions. However, mid positions will be able to receive it as well. When dragging, instead of being held behind the vehicle, it'll be held in front. It'll also not be destroyed till it has hit a certain number of vehicles. Excuse me, certain number of opponents. It may as well be the same thing. I'd say between 5 and 8 would be good before it is released. Of course, with it being a green shell rules would apply, so if it goes off the stage, it's gone. You know? The next one also appears in Mario Kart Tour, and I believe in the arcade games. The hammer. 3 hammers are thrown ahead in an arcing pattern. If you've played Tour, you already know what this item is like. I don't really need to go into it. The next item is the switch hook. This is actually a very original item, and there's actually a couple items that are very original that I came up with here, in assumption that certain characters from Mario Kart 8 would be continuing to be part of the Mario Kart cast. So with this is the assumption that Zelda characters are going to now be part of the Mario Kart cast from now on. So the switch hook, I actually explained that right here. I figured since Link is now part of the Mario Kart roster, an item or two from the Zelda series should be added. Excuse me. The switch hook will act like a green shell until it makes contact with another player, where it will switch the user with the contacted player's position. So this one was actually one that I asked about to a chat, you know? This was just an idea that chat came up with, and I was like, I like this idea. I really like this idea. I don't know how this will change the game up, but I would... So I don't know how I would weight this. But I do think it's a very clever idea. I definitely would not put this anywhere near the front. Maybe more towards the mid and back positions. But yeah, it's an interesting item idea. So next up in keeping in line with the Zelda theme, we have the spin top. This item will blow. This item is from the Twilight Princess game. It will blow through. This item will blow through immediately forward opponents as it goes up into the air with you on top of it. When you drive off, you'll be in glide mode. Basically, it's a quick way to go into glide mode, but also any opponents immediately in front of you will take a beating, so to say. They'll take like a shell type shot, I'd say. I mean, I don't know. That one was more of my idea than it was the chat's idea. Let's just put it that way. But I do like the idea of like an immediate glide type item, and that would be what this could serve. So yeah. Next, we also have a similar type item. So the splat gun. Just like Zelda items, this is just because Splatoon characters are now part of the roster. This item will create an oil slick, a certain distance ahead of the user, enough for them to swerve out of the way, but still control it to screw over other players. I didn't want this one to go behind. I don't think that making it so like if you hold behind is a good idea. I think that it should be a little bit difficult to use because it does. If we just like make it straight behind the player, it's basically a banana. Yeah, at that point. I think if we make it a little bit more nerfed compared to the banana, where it only goes in front of the user, you know? So, moving on, we've got the snow cloud. This one is actually from the arcade games. It's kind of like the thundercloud, except instead of shrinking players, it freezes them. There's actually, I think there was like one other cloud in the arcade games, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, the snow cloud, definitely an item I kind of like the idea of. There's an item that's not mentioned here, but I think we could probably throw in something like a snowball as well, or a pink shell maybe, which has a similar idea, except for instead of rushing into the player, you throw an item at them. So the next item is one that you may be familiar with. It's the egg. This one has appeared in the arcade games Double Dash and Tour. So this one shoots a Yoshi egg, which acts like a red shell until impacts, when it explodes into 3 random items. Then we have the gold shell. Green shells. Huh? Okay, I must have failed to type this one. So the gold shell will act like a green shell. However, what makes this item unique is it'll be the shell version of the golden mushroom. In other words, for a short period of time, you can shoot an infinite amount of these green shells, which will appear as golden shells, obviously. Because, why not? We are just reskinning the shell, after all. Speaking of, that's kind of the common thing here, is a lot of these items are just reskins of mushrooms or shells that kind of do different things, kinda. Mushrooms are a little bit more diverse in what they do, but the shells are pretty much just reskins of shells that do a little bit more than what their lesser versions would do. You know? And finally, we have the big one, the Insane 9! Of course, we had the Lucky 7, the Crazy 8, so we gotta have the Insane 9. By the way, I want the Lucky 7 and Crazy 8 to also be in Mario Kart 9. I think they should also be in Mario Kart 10, but I think these items should be mainstays at this point. So, anyways, so it probably won't act like its actual name, but this will continue the trend from the last two games of having the item based on the game's number that gives you said number of items. It will be the rarest item in the game. I'd also like to note, I could see Mario Kart 10 instead of continuing the trend, having all three, like I was just saying, the Lucky 7, Crazy 8, and Insane 9. So, the item possibilities all set to be the same rarity. In fact, they'll be coded as the same item, and if the player receives it, it'll be random which of the three they get. The picture will obviously correspond to the correct item, but I could actually see that leading to a graphical glitch where you receive, say, the Crazy 8, but the icon shows Lucky 7. This is, of course, speculation for 10. If we're talking about 9, it's just going to be the Insane 9. So, enough about that. So, the items for the Insane 9, not the Crazy 9, we've already got the Crazy 8. The Insane 9, in no particular order, will be the blue shell, the white shell, a star, a bomb, a random item, the intangible mushroom, a POW block, a black shell, and the snow cloud. Obviously, I chose these items to kind of showcase the newer items a little, but also keep in touch with what everybody really wants out of this. What everyone really wants out of this item, which of course would be the star. Let's be honest, we all just rushed to the star, so I kept that in. I also kept in a lot of the standard items. You'll also notice I didn't say coin. That's because I think that the coin really shouldn't even exist in Mario Kart. It's a very tiny speed boost, if at all, and has a very minor effect on your acceleration. So the coin item should just be gone. I also did not say the feather. I don't see a point in including the feather either. I can see the feather returning, but I just don't see a point in having it there, you know? So that's just a few ideas. Obviously I missed out on the white shell. I think everything else is in here though. So yeah, figured you guys might find this interesting. This is going to be hell to edit, but I kind of wanted to do it anyway, so I might leave a link to the spacehey blog post if you guys want to read it. Obviously it was kind of difficult for me to read, apparently. I need to fix the spellings on there, and re-include the white shell, I guess. But yeah, so that's going to be the end of this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. There are links in the description. I shall see you guys in the next video.
がもう跳ね返るサーチライトの下には僕らしかいないみたい
朝にならないようにマップを書きよう
白熱と作り出した影帽子振り払うようにペンペンでバー
地球を回す陽気なランニング
踊り方フォーマスレートなさ慌てずリズム任せなよ体そうすりゃ寂しがってる暇もないほどにワッパッパの気ない
All of the twinkles in your eyes, they make you shine like shooting stars in the sky. While through the speed passage, come with me and here we go. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.